This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
That's great. All right. I'm just going to mute all the calls here, and hopefully everyone can still hear. We're going to get going here. So welcome to the first call of a 12-week program. It's going to run for 12 weeks. Obviously, this is week one. So I just, again, thanks everyone for coming. Really excited about doing this with you guys. So week one, we're going to be working your best source for business, excuse me, which is working your sphere of influence. So these are past clients, people in your database, people people that like or love and trust you, and that would love to help you get to the next phase of your business, because you guys know that if someone's looking for a tire guy and you've had a great experience, or a chiropractor and you've had a great experience, you yourself are quick. I know I am quick to say, hey, use my guy. He's great at fixing backs or knees or whatever. So everyone should have the workbook, and so we'll get started and we'll get going, and then at the end of it we will we'll open everything up to getting you guys finished and learning here. So number one, fill in the blank, and at the end of all the workbooks there are the answers if you do forget one. But let's make sure you guys can fill these in as we go. So number one, you will always get more business from people you know versus people you do not know. So the fill in the blank there is more business. You will always get more business from them. Again, they're going to be the ones that are reaching out there to help you get to that next level. They really want to help you out. Number two, expect a 10% return from your list per year if you work at property. Expect a 10% return from your list per year if you work it properly. So there's two sources of that, and those two sources are repeat business plus referral business. Okay, repeat business plus referral business. The repeat business are the people that are going to keep calling you because you're keeping in touch with them to resell their house, help them buy the next one. And the referral business are those people, because you're calling them, reaching out to them. And as we go along here, you'll see the different ways we can reach out to these guys and girls. But let's look at number three here. So quick calculation. I'm going to do it with simple numbers of 100 people. Obviously, you guys will be great at your at your database doing your own math. But quick calculation, number in your database times 10% equals, so let's use 100 people. So if we used 100 people times 10%, that equals 10 deals per year. Then your average commission here in the Barrie area is about $10,000. So if I use that with the average commission, 10 deals times 10,000 will give me an extra $100,000. That's what my database, if it was only 100 people, would be worth to me, right now if I worked at property. So take your number, if it's 300, do the math, it just keeps, is better and better. So the bigger picture here is trying to get more people into your database as we go along. Number five, so here's a simple plan to work your list properly. A, call them every 90 days. So in the blank here is call them every 90 days. Give them a market update and always ask for referrals. B, if they are not home, leave a message and then follow up with them again in 90 days. You don't have to be calling them 5 days in a row trying to get them. Leave the message. There's scripts at the back of this book, workbook, that I use all the time. Okay? C, send one surface mail item every 90 days. So that could be a market update from, Market Connections, Morris Marketing, or even a personal note from yourself. Okay? So send one surface email every 90 days. The key is they don't want to hear from you every week on a voicemail or on your direct call. They'll just get tired of you. They'll actually ask you to stop calling. Okay? So that's the time we reach out to remind them that we are in the business. And every time we remind them we're in the business, we're on their mind. If something does come up, they will give you a call. And D, email monthly with a market update, pre-formatted or individual by yourself. So if you're working a specific farm area, find some value in that area, a market update with how many recent sales, the percentage of listings, sale to listings taken price, something that gives them a reason to want to know what's in their area. Okay? E, this is a big one, and this is something that is getting better review all the time. It's something that a lot of agents are doing, and it's really been successful. And this is E, is consider using video email to communicate with everyone periodically. So consider using video email to communicate with everyone periodically. You will actually expect a 50% higher open rate. Long drawn out emails typed. I always ask people when they send me long emails if they have it in an audio book, because I really don't want to read 3 pages of stuff. A quick 2-minute, 1-minute video asking how they're doing, giving them a little bit of value will go a long way. Right? And by all means, use social media to stay in touch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, texting, etc. Just don't replace don't replace the personal contact, okay, with that stuff. That's a great tool to have, but we certainly don't want to replace reaching out and actually having, verbal contact with these people. Number 6, annual or semi-annual customer events. So annual or semi-annual customer events are super effective. People love to be invited to do things, okay? Always ask them to bring a friend, so they're introducing more people to you. Their husbands and kids are great, but bring a friend, bring another family. Try to grow it so that you're getting a lot of people to these events. You can do them super expensive, or you can do them super cheap, where you go to Costco and buy a bunch of hot dogs and you call the local park and try to have a day where you can have, a bunch of games, scavenger hunts for the kids, and just a time to thank them for helping you grow the business to where it is today. Movie theaters are great, skating rinks, Easter egg hunts, all of that stuff. It's a really great way to build your list. Number 7, so let's talk about how to build your list. So start adding, fill in the blank here, 1 name per day. Now, if you're not prospecting all the time and you're not getting new leads and adding, that's one way to not build it. We want to continually look for people to put in here. But what we want to do is continuing to add people. Again, the more people you add, the more time you keep in touch with them, the more return you're going to get on your dollar. So add everyone you can think of: chiropractor, mechanic, tire guy, accountant, hairdresser, teachers. Put them in your database and reach out to them. It's a great way to keep adding that database. So there are many online options for good databases, management CRMs like Exact Contact, Top Producer, Outlook, Morris Marketing. There's many to choose from, and whatever one you guys and girls feel like is the best for you, use it. Research them, but have something, because if you don't have anything, it's very hard to keep a follow-up program with these people, and really hard to, do easy emails and videos to people. Number 8. So this is really important, because not everyone you call is going to be moving. And if that's the only reason you're calling is just to have them move, the numbers just aren't there. So they don't have to be moving to be part of your list. It says here that the average person will move every 5 to 7 years. And the average person runs into about 6 or 7 people every year who are actually talking about moving. So because of these odds, you have a much better chance of getting a referral. So when in doubt, add them to your list. Okay. So let's move on to number 9 here. So a simple agenda to follow when you contact someone in your database. How have you been late? Excuse me. How have you been lately? Provide the added value about the market. We're going to get to that in point 11. If you give value, then it doesn't look like you're always just taking. You have value. They appreciate the call. They will try to give you something in return. Do you have any questions about the real estate market? It's a great way to open up the conversation, okay, and get them talking about it. Another great one is, when do you suppose you folks will be moving next? Okay, you have to ask that question. You never know. I was very diligent at the beginning of this year to really start reaching out to my database again and going through every single person and deciding whether I wanted them in my database or to get rid of them. But I contacted a client, left him a voicemail, and he saw a missed call, didn't get my voicemail, and I got a text that said, "What's up?" And I said, "Actually, I just had a business question. Do you have a minute?" And he said, "Absolutely." And I said, "Do you mind if I give you a call?" "No, no problem." So I gave him a call, and I went through the script, the center of influence script. And I basically said the following: "Hey, Will, it's Jason Carpenter from Century 21 Real Estate. How are you today?" "Great. Listen, we haven't talked in a little bit, and I was calling to touch base and see how you were doing. How is everything going?" "Great. How's the house been working out for you?" "Oh, it's great. Fred and Martha, everyone, the children's good." It's basically the script here. So I said again, well, this is a business phone call. Do you have a minute? "Yeah. Well, as you know, I am always looking for more people to help in real estate. And I was wondering, who do you know that needs my help to buy or sell a home this year?" Right away, he was like, "You know what? I can't think of anyone." And I said, "Well, no problem. I appreciate you thinking about that. Can you think of any neighbors, friends, or family, anyone from work?" "Not really, but obviously I'll call you if I know." I'm like, "Hey, that's great. Listen, I really do appreciate that, Will. It's people like you that have helped me build my business so effectively. Now, while I do have you on the phone, let me ask you, do you have any questions about the real estate market that I can help you with?" "No, not really." I said, "Great. Well, listen, if anything ever does come up, would you feel comfortable calling me?" He goes, "Yeah, of course I would." Now, before I go any further, Will is someone that is a manager at a restaurant that my family eats, and I see Will all the time. And we chat, but I was guilty of not asking him for a referral or for business. My own fault, but I saw him every week. So in my head, he was just someone that knew to call me if I was going, if he was going to move. But then I said, "Fantastic. Before I hang up, tell me, when do you suppose you'll be making your next move, or when will you be moving next?" And he said, "You know what? I have no plans on making a move." And I said, "Okay, listen, that's good for you. That's great. I'll see you in the restaurant soon. But again, if you have any questions about the real estate market, please reach out and give me a call." Hung up the phone and thought there was just another contact I made. Later that night, I was sitting watching the Leafs game, and my phone rang, and he said, "How much do you think my house is worth?" I said, "Well, I'm not sure, but why don't we do this? Why don't we set aside 15 minutes? I can come by." And he said, "I don't know if I'm moving." I said, "No problem." I said, "But let's set aside that time, and I'll come by and at least give you some information so that if you do decide to make a move, you'll have all the information needed to move forward." So set aside a time. The next day I went out, and that was a week ago. I listed his house on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. We had 7 offers, and I sold it over asking price within 20 hours. all because I made that call. I didn't assume he would call me. But you see, there's a little rule here, and everyone should write this down, is self-discovery is the number one reason for change. Sorry. Self-discovery is the number one reason for change. Sometimes it just takes a little bump, a little reminder, a little information to get people thinking, maybe it is time, maybe I should move. Okay, so ask for referrals. Ask for referrals, ask for referrals. This is our job. We are salespeople. No matter how much we like to hide behind that and not tell anyone, that's the business we're in. We are salespeople, and we need to stay professional, ask the business questions, because that's how we're going to grow our business in the numbers game. Then say goodbye, mark them over 90 days for your next follow-up call. So this is super important. If you have talked to them or have left them a message, make sure that you put in your follow-up system, whatever it may be. In 90 days, you're going to call them again. You're going to go over the same thing. It's okay to do that. You don't have to feel like I talked to them 3 months. They're going to forget they talked to you. You have to remind them all the time that you're in business. Number 10, don't worry if you haven't spoke to them insert here for a long time. They actually, believe it or not, haven't been keeping track. Okay. In fact, if you said, when the last time we talked was, they're like, nope, I have no idea. The only person that knows you should have been calling them is, and insert here, you. You are the only one. Okay. They don't look in the mail every year for a Christmas card from you. Unless you put $30,000 in each card, they're not looking for your card. If it comes in, great. If it doesn't, it's no skin off their back. Number 11, we have 2 main tasks that you must perform every time you contact one of your past clients or center of influence. A, provide added value. Okay, so insert provide added value about the market. One current MLS statistic is sufficient each time. Example, number of homes sold in the last 30 days, percentage increase in prices, number of homes on the market currently, et cetera, et cetera. And B, ask for referrals every time, no exceptions. You are not being pushy. You're just doing your job. Okay, and here's how. As you know, I am always looking for more people to help in real estate. So I was wondering, who do you know that needs my help to buy or sell a home this year? All right. Shake your head. Who do you know? Like, yes, you're going to remember me. Okay. And you can pat yourself on the chest. Who do you know? You will come across a little bit differently, a little bit more professional, assertive. That's what they want. Someone confident, someone that's going to help them sell their houses. Number 12, remember the most critical aspect of working this hugely productive source of business is an insert here, personal contact. The most critical aspect of working this hugely productive source of business is personal contact. If you just send them texts, emails, never talk to them with a voice, it's not as effective. If you find you don't want to call someone, then just take them off your list. And that's what I was doing in January. There's some people that the conversations they were either awkward or they were just a super cold lead that I put on, and there was nothing coming from that. Your goal should be to build your list to a minimum of 300 names. Again, the key is to add 1 name per day. Insert there. The key is to add 1 name per day from your ongoing prospect. Every once in a while, if you're driving down the street and you remember, you know what, I bought my car there, I'm going to put my sales guy on my list. Pull over, write it down. I don't want anyone writing while they're driving. Let's be safe, people. Okay, but from your prospecting, you need to add more people. And if you only know so many people, then this is the time now where we do have to reach out to the bigger group. That bigger group will come from your cold calls, your door knocking. I know the key here is I think you guys are all getting the point, guys and girls, is that our source of business that's going to give us the most return are the people that we love, people that like us, the people that have had great experience with us, and the people we come into contact with all the time. They're going to want to help you guys out. All right, so I'm going to open up to questions. It's going to be a quick call. This was a shorter one, but I think super important, and I want to make sure that you guys can all talk in here. Give me one quick second here to. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything they want to add to this session?
Hey, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Billy. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Just, I texted the question into the webinar thing, but I wasn't sure if you saw it. How are you deciding, or how have you been deciding who stays in your database? If there's very weak content or they haven't responded, do you just assume the message is getting out, the impression is being made if you haven't talked to them, but you still keep them on, or what? Yeah,
so, great question. So one thing is when you're asking these questions, and let's just say you were leaving voicemails, emails, the way you ask the way you end some of those conversations is, listen, if you ever hear of anyone or can think of anyone that's looking to buy or sell, I'd love to help them out. So you're not asking them for a call back. You're asking them to only call you if if they can think of someone or if they want to move. So you have to be careful that, I've never heard from this person, because you actually said, hey, you haven't said, hey, give me a shout back, let's chat. If you're saying that and they're not calling you back, and it's 4 contacts a year and your emails and all that, I think you can make a decision there that, okay, then these people have nothing, they don't want anything to do with me. The other thing I didn't mention throughout the seminar here is also, stopping by. Maybe it's not a phone call. Maybe it is just, you're driving through the neighborhood and it's time to go see Jim. So go see Jim and knock on Jim's door and have a conversation. So I think, if you're not getting, if the phone calls are cold with people, or they're short answers, and you've been calling them 2 or 3 years in a row and you're getting nothing, I think it really comes down to a judgment call on your end at that point. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. And I guess part of it is that, it's been drilled into us. It takes 7 or 8 follow-ups before either a sale or some progress is made with a client. And if it feels very one-sided, I don't know if it's at 7 or 8 times that they're rejecting you each time before they finally say, yes, I'll work with you, or is it more like, sort of like what you're saying. It's like if you try to contact them, you're not feeling like they're responding. That's sort of a different type of rejection, as it were. I guess it's.
I think if what I would do is I would always keep people in my database, because you never know. Like, it could be 5 years before you get anything from somebody, right? And I think also you have to look at, am I being diligent with the amount of touches, the 4 a year of a personal touch, whether it's the, and we use that as a voicemail where it's your voice.
Right.
I would really start using video. It is so powerful, and it's a great way to say, hey, just came across this, and you can do it as a blanket video, or you can make it specific to, your A++ clients or whatever you want to do. You can do a personal video for them. It literally is on an iPhone. It doesn't have to be super production. It can be a raw video. You can say ums and ahs. People, they like seeing your smiling face, right? And but I wouldn't necessarily kick people off unless you're getting pushed. Like, hey, you don't have to call me. I know that if someone wants to buy, I'm going to have them call you. Like, you can sense the ones that you don't need in your database, and you can get rid of them. Or you're driving down the street and you obviously see their house for sale and it's not your sign, you could probably take them off your database at that point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyone else have any input on this session? I'll let you guys know. Jim Bailey is taking the month of April off. He's doing a couple of brokers courses. So those calls we're going to just hold off for in April. And Jim and I have a meeting on Friday, and we're going to discuss the possibility of changing that call into more of a mastermind. So a little bit of objection handling, some, just some talk amongst professional realtors about the market or ideas, or, hey, what do you do for this? Just make it more of an open forum. So that will restart up. As far as I know, I'll have more information after Friday once Jim and I sit down and have that discussion. But, anyone on the call, if you guys have any ideas for that, for that role play call or potentially mastermind group, just shoot me an email or Jim, and we'd love any input on that stuff that can make it better for you guys and girls. Okay.
Okay.
I think that obviously there are 12 chapters to this 90-day program, and so I'll be putting out the recording later today or tomorrow. My one thing with the recording is the people that don't come on the calls consecutively, I'm wondering if the recording is giving an excuse not to do that. And so I'm going to send out this recording, but what I might do for a couple of weeks is not do it and see if we can get more people on these calls. I'd really love a huge turnout. I think this is just a great extra little bit of information that just most of the time is just a reminder to us to go, yeah, you know what, I should be doing that.
Right.
All right. So if anyone else has anything, let's go. And if not, then we can wrap up and you guys can get on with making some money.
All right.
All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Have a powerful week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks. Good session.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye-bye.